Hello, welcome to the Comic Book Club. I am your host, Jamil Payne, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Amanda Coney. How are you doing, Amanda?
I'm doing all right. I mean, given current world conditions.
Yeah, how's I see you finished your basement.
Yeah, our basement was unfinished, and I had been trying to dance down there, and that's really, really horrible. It kind of looked like a prison cell.
I was gonna say a filthy sex dungeon, but we can go with prison cell.
Yeah, no, I mean, I heard a lot of interesting jokes about what was going on in my basement when I was posting
Well,
when I was posting those videos. So
it's funny because now that it's finished, right? It's just that one pole, which I'm pretty sure helps hold up the house. But like you just have a stripper pole in the middle of your basement.
it does look a lot like that. I was thinking of putting like Christmas lights or something on it, or and it's funny because we didn't like finish the whole basement. All I did was put in literally the cheapest laminate flooring I could find at like Lowe's,
Right.
and I just put that down. But now that it's not, now that the floor is like all one color, and it just it changes everything. And the walls, I mean, like I repainted the walls, but they don't look that different. But it just does look completely different. Like it took it, like you said, it looked like a weird, you know, dirty sex dungeon, and now it looks like a yoga studio.
Yeah, it does. It's almost like you could hold classes down there if you wanted to. Like it looks really nice. But this is what happened when you're in quarantine.
Yeah.
Like I know for me, I've just been watching old movies. I made a post a couple weeks ago. I learned the Night Fever line dance.
Nice.
For Saturday Night Fever. I would never post those videos, so don't look for those. Have you ever seen that movie?
I don't think I've seen it since like elementary school, maybe. I feel like that's the sort of thing that my mom would have had on, and she would have said, like, kiddo, like, this movie is culturally significant. You need to watch it.
You know that movie is terrible. Not as in like it's terrible. Like there's like rape and like just it's just a depressing ass movie. Like there's like with these like four or five like these three or four dance sequences of glam, but the rest of the movie is just really about a dude that's going nowhere and just shit upon. And the only time he's like a guy is when he dance. But the movie is really damn depressing, kind of like everybody's unlikable.
Yeah, that's I
Like
mean, it's like the gritty 70s or something, right?
I mean, like within 10 minutes, there's an attempted rape and like an actual gang rape by like the
Mhm.
protagonist, and it's just like,
Yeah, I don't remember that part.
yeah, like, and it's weird. I mean, look, dancing still hold up, right? Like that's the thing,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yeah.
40 years on, and even though it's supposed to be the 70s and it's cheesy, there's something undeniably cool about the dancing and like John Travolta. There's something
Mhm.
timelessly cool about him in that movie, despite the bell bottoms.
You were saying that you were watching old movies. I got one for you that is not depressing.
What's that?
Elvis.
Yes, Elvis. I want to talk to you about this.
Okay. I watched Blue Hawaii, and it was great. That is the best you could hope for entertainment, in my opinion.
Really? I mean, explain to Amanda. I want to hear this.
Okay, well, I mean, it's just like it is exactly what you would expect, right? It's a movie that features Elvis. There is some music, there is some dancing. It's like a romantic comedy. Um, it is surprisingly, not surprisingly, because the 60s were horny in general, but like it is
I'm
a
about to
very
say,
flirty movie
yes,
without getting like explicit.
right.
It's just kind of a really fun. It's just kind of a fun movie, and it was. I mean, this is something I've come to appreciate about. There was a there was an aspect of movies back in the 50s and 60s that was just like travel porn
Yes.
because you didn't have these great big beautiful pictures of places you could visit and most people couldn't really travel that way. So the movie also has an aspect of that. Like Blue Hawaii was a travelogue movie for Hawaii. Like come visit Hawaii. It's beautiful beaches and beautiful women and we have music and we have food and we have convertibles and I don't know, it's just kind of nice and light and uh there's surprisingly little conflict. I don't know, it was very enjoyable. And I like Elvis apparently, so
You know, as a black person, Elvis is black people have a very complicated relationship with Elvis.
I can 100% see that because he definitely has one of the things that makes his music so good is that there's an element of like blues in it and there's also an element of like gospel.
Well, so this is the thing,
And
right?
there's definitely like yeah.
So here's the thing, right? Like, so like, we live in different times, but this is what I always say, like, history shouldn't be erased, right? So when I was growing up, yeah, I guess we were both growing up. When we were growing up, right, it was always said Elvis invented rock and roll. That's really what I heard. It's just that he wasn't. It just wasn't that he was the king of rock and roll, but he really invented it. I remember hearing this a lot growing up. You know what I'm saying? And I remember black people being like, "Nah, not really." But for the longest, that voice wasn't heard. To eventually it got loud enough to where they don't say that anymore. The last time I seen a record of it, I think it was Variety. Like it was like some big publication about 6 years ago wrote, the anniversary of Elvis is the anniversary of Elvis inventing rock and roll, and that's what it said. That was the title, right? Within a week they changed it.
Good.
But I remember what that old title was. So like even to this day that shit permeates that Elvis invented rock and roll. But he's like the first like cultural appropriator. Well, he's not the first. He's nowhere near the first, but like he's like the grand example, right? You know what I'm saying? He took this black form with all his sexiness and shit and made it like his own without really giving any credit to black people, at least not loudly or enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
With that being said, Elvis made some great music, and I love
He
the. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say he definitely had this aspect of being I almost want to say he was like the Disney version of music. Like almost everything about Elvis seems like it was engineered to make him maximally popular. Like yes, like let's scour every other music form and bring in the best elements. Let's make him a sex symbol without like actually having him appear to be a womanizer. Like let's make him charming and flirtatious but not an asshole. Let's have him win the fights but not start them. Like just it felt very much like they sat down a group of people and said, "How do we make the most popular guy ever?"
And like as a heterosexual male, I have to say Elvis is gorgeous. Like young Elvis
Uh-huh.
is a very pretty man.
That is definitely part of it.
Like
I am not complaining about that part.
fun fact, did you know Elvis is actually like a natural blonde?
Really?
Yeah. So like, which is usually a trait that people look for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
but they decided it was better.
I think he decided. I think he wanted his hair black. But yeah, Elvis was a natural blonde.
Wow.
Like there's a couple of very old pictures I think before he got famous where you can see him with blonde hair. But yeah, that's the thing. My favorite Elvis movie is Jailhouse Rock,
Okay.
and mainly because of the Jailhouse Rock video in there.
Mhm.
And it's weird too, right? Because like if you watch his movie, they almost proto movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Proto music videos, right? And I know the Beatles usually and rightfully so, like get the credit for that, but really it was Elvis before like you know what I'm saying? It was you, but Elvis kind of had like that trick down in his
That was
movie.
that was definitely something that I thought about when I was rewatching this week. Was I was like, oh, a lot of the infrastructure that allowed the Beatles to become so popular was laid by Elvis. Like America was primed to look at musicians as sex symbols, and also like for musicians to appear in videos and movies and stuff like that.
Yes, and like the funny, so like what I got from it is that like Elvis had the idea first. So like if you look at the Elvis performances, right, like in those
Mm-hmm.
movies, right, it's kind of like a music video, but really it's just him standing and singing, right?
Yeah.
So the Beatles took that and added cuts, like a music video, and that's how you
Yeah.
kind of and like those two influences is how you get music videos. But yes, Elvis was a big influence on them, which is not a surprise. Like you know that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was an influence on everything for a decade.
Yeah, he was. He was like you know he was the king of rock and roll. I mean, there's no denying that. But yes,
Well, and even the things that don't sound like him, he influenced. Like Black Sabbath is influenced by Elvis because they were like, we're not Elvis.
yes. Okay, I get that. Yeah, yeah. All right. So yeah, and of course, you know, I guess it's worth mentioning that you know the Ed Sullivan Show like filmed him from the waist up because apparently his hips was too sexy, which is just weird.
I mean, they are pretty sexy.
Oh my god. So anyway, today we are now. So man, I'm glad you like the Elvis movies. Are you gonna watch more of them?
I think I might, just because this tone, uh, it's perfect. It's just like movie bubblegum. And that's kind of nice right now.
And do you like the music? Like do you like do
Oh
you
yeah,
actually?
oh yeah. No, I absolutely love Elvis. I mean, you know that I do social dancing and swing dancing, and like Elvis is still absolutely standard at those sorts of events.
How many times have you danced the hound dog?
I was gonna say, Burning Love is one of my favorites, actually.
Okay.
I was just realizing that's very good for it's a good tempo for teaching. So if I ever get to teach dance again, I might use that for teaching swing outs.
Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, man, do you want to start taking podcasts? We talk about old movies because I ain't got nothing else to do. Okay, Amanda. So we are here today to talk about By Chance or Providence by Becky Cologne. Am I saying that right?
Let me get my eyes on this name again. Cloonan?
Cloonan? Cloonan?
Cloonan, I think.
Okay.
With colors by Lee Lou Ridge and lettering by Rachel Deering.
Yes. And this is like what we didn't know was this is a 3 short story collection, right? This like
Yeah.
it's not even that long. Like I was shocked. Like half of the book are sketches.
Well, does that mean that you wanted more? Because that's a good sign.
Yes, it is. I think I want more. I did like the 3 stories. It reminds me when we read Into the Woods by Emily Carroll. Like I really got like a line from that, or like it's very similar in a lot of ways. Or am I? Did you get that, or is that just something I'm bringing
Oh
to it?
no, I absolutely got the same thing. Just sort of the modern horror fairy tale, I guess I would call it.
Right.
In indie comic modern horror fairy tale is I guess the genre.
I've tried to be nice about calling stuff that as a pejorative, you know what I'm saying? Or is an indie comic. But yeah, this one was pretty good though.
Okay. Um so I mean, I guess you were saying that, like, you know, there's the three short stories, and then a significant part of the collected volume we had was artwork. What did you think of the artwork?
I think the artwork, I've seen her art like several times before. Like I know who she is,
Mhm.
kind of. Like once I looked up what she's done, like, oh, I've read something. I've read something, like, because the art did look familiar.
Yeah.
And like I think the art is pretty damn good. I think some of the sketches are really good. Actually, it's almost as good as the actual stuff she put in here. So just like for everybody else, this collects three short stories: the Wolves, the Meyer, and the Mentor. The Meyer actually won an Eisner Award for best short story, or one shot, or something like that. So
Mhm.
she's an Eisner Award winner. And like she's mainly an artist, but like I guess this is her stab at writing. Amanda, what did you think of this, like, overall?
I mean, overall, I really liked it. My sentiment was the same, that this reminded me of Into the Woods a lot. Um, I honestly, I think I preferred Into the Woods just because the having several stories, it was more obvious what overall themes Carol
Right.
uh, was interested in the reader thinking about. And with these three short stories, it seems less clear that there's a connecting thread besides the fact that she illustrated all of them. So I mean, I think that was my general impression. Was I really liked it, but it reminded me of something else that I liked a little bit more.
Mm.
I did really like the art, and I kind of wanted to say that what I really appreciate is that she has a very big range. Um, Cloonan does some stuff which is very, like, traditional sequential comic booky looking art. And then she also does stuff which is, like, more stylized and a little bit abstract. And then she also is capable of doing, like, these splashes or full page drawings, which are almost like they would be like a Jenny Frison Wonder Woman alternate cover type thing, you know?
Right.
So I really like that she has kind of the range, which makes this interesting because since this is her own work, we're seeing what she prefers, like what she thinks her strength is and what she likes the best. I found I really liked that there was a lot of ambiguity in the stories too. So I'd be
A
very
lot.
interested for us to maybe pick one of the stories and talk about, like, what do we think really happens.
Well, we can talk about all three. Like, honestly, they're all pretty short, so we can just start from the beginning and we can just work our way through. So the first story, I mean, if that's okay with you, Amanda.
Yeah, yeah.
So the first story is Wolves, right?
Hmm. Okay, I was gonna say, we have maybe a knight who has been told that he has to go kill the werewolf, and that it has to be him. And he has his lover who's insisting that he not go, and she doesn't want him to go. And when he finally meets the werewolf, he realizes that it is his lover, and that's why she didn't want him to go. And it seems implied that if you kill a werewolf, you become the werewolf. And so
Yes.
now he's cursed. But I think there was also this added element of maybe this woman was also the king's lover. Maybe she was like a concubine or the queen, or maybe it was his daughter, or that she was somehow also connected to the king, and that whoever had sent this soldier out to kill the werewolf was aware of their relationship and knew what was going to happen, and had sort of abdicated his responsibility in some way.
Okay.
Did you get that layer?
I kind of like maybe.
Okay.
I had to read it like 2 times.
Okay.
And it was only upon the second reading that I even realized there was 3 different timelines.
Okay.
But yes, I did get a sense that maybe, and like they actually I think that theme comes up again in the next one in the Maya. But overall, what do you think of the Wolves? What do you think of this particular short story?
I think it's fine.
You just think it's fine?
Yeah, I mean it's it feels like a new. It feels very fairy tale-y. Yeah.
Okay, so we go to the Eisner Award winning The Mire. Now this one, a knight sends a squire on a quest. I guess is the elevator pitch, right?
Well, yeah, he sends him on an errand instead of bringing him into battle.
Yes. For reasons only known to him, and he has to cross basically a haunted swamp to a castle.
Mhm.
And this is where you find out that the squire is actually the knight's son, and he didn't know from an affair, and I'm assuming an affair with the king's queen. I mean, with the queen.
I mean, an affair with whoever was living in this castle.
Right. So, what do you make of the lady? So, who's the lady in the bed?
Well, I mean, that's his mom.
That's his mom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And he opens the letter, and it was for him, and he basically what? So, did he know he was going to die? Like, or was this like some magic shit happening?
I think that the knight knew that he was going to die, and that possibly he knew that if he died in battle, it would guarantee that his son was safe.
Right.
So I think that I think that there was some sort of implicit.
So okay, that was his mom, and like he knew he sent him away, and like he ensured his safety. Now, my question is this: this won an Eisner Award. Now it's hard to know because we don't know the other nominees, and like I'm not crapping on Becky's accomplishments. But do you feel like this story was award winning in any way?
I think it's incredibly efficient because you get so much in so few pages.
Right.
So I mean, I think that was really, really well done. I think that some of the layouts were very good. I mean, it's kind of a case of just having a good enough idea executed really, really well.
Right.
And sometimes I think that's enough.
Okay.
But no, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is like the greatest thing I've read all year.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I got. Like this is not necessarily. I don't know. So I guess that brings us to the last one, which is the myth. Was it the meter?
Yep.
Am I saying that correctly? Okay, the meter.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be the Greek goddess.
Right. So, man, what did you think of this one?
This one was very. It felt almost like a gender swapped Little Mermaid.
Right.
And I was a little bit confused about whether this guy existed at all before.
Okay.
And
Okay.
whether she conjured him and then he went back to the sea, or if he really was a man who died or drowned and she like recovered him.
What it seems like, just what it seems like is that like they were lovers before,
Mm-hmm.
and he died, and she made a deal with whatever sea creature she made a deal with to bring him back. But the penance for bringing him back was he lost all his memories.
Well, and she would only have him for a set amount of time.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's what she says.
right.
So I was just saying, I was kind of skeptical over whether he was ever real.
Mm. So now this one is my personal favorite because I
Okay.
think maybe because it felt like it goes a little bit longer and it probably doesn't, but this one felt like the most substance of the three, in
Okay.
my opinion. Like it's a little more meat on this bone,
Mm-hmm.
and I found it really creepy,
Yes.
and I'm curious about the end. Does the little girl get kidnapped, or what you think? What you because that's clearly his child, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I really did like this one. I think this is the best of the three. And maybe because like it's kind of working off like the bones of like Greek mythology. It looks like, but like to me this is like the best one.
I feel like this one definitely gave um, enough time to feel like there was really a relationship between the two characters.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
it's one thing to have a story where the knight says, "And I love this woman." It's another thing to actually like see them together.
Like that's what you know what I think that's what it is. Thank you, Amanda, for trying to put it into words what I was saying. Like you felt for them, like you actually felt this relationship as opposed to the other two,
Yeah.
and you wanted them to be together, which what makes it all the more tragic.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that definitely makes a big difference. Well, I have a question, because one of the things that we were talking about when we read Into the Woods, and this is also like just commonly an element of fairy tales, is like when tragic things happen in these stories, because they're frequently cautionary. Um, did the characters deserve it?
Right.
Like, did we see any evidence of like in the first one, the wolves, that's definitely the sort of like contrived no-win scenario that shows up in fairy tales where you're punished for something where you really had no choice.
Mhm.
Like, you're cursed for killing the werewolf, but like you had to kill the werewolf, and like you didn't know it was your girlfriend, and you know it had to be you anyways because you wanted her out of her misery, and like that feels very classic. But I feel like, do you see like any of that element of like punishment in these other two, or I guess justice?
Where it seems in the first one, it,
Hmm.
it almost feel like in the first one he kind of knew the werewolf was his girlfriend. It seems.
I mean, I think he knew when he saw the werewolf
Oh,
and
okay.
saw that it was her eyes, he knew that it was her.
Right,
And then he
right,
realized that that's why he was sent.
right. And like this, and yeah, I guess him. If if the theory is true that that's somehow the king's like wife or like mistress or daughter or something, I guess that could be seen as a just punishment. Well, not just, but I guess that could be seen as a punishment.
Yeah, like you were having an affair with this woman, your punishment is that you have to kill her and become a werewolf. Like,
Right,
yeah,
right.
that's totally standard.
And that's definitely true of the Meyer, where he's there's a lot of affairs in this book now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the overarching theme.
Hmm.
Like he definitely was punished for it. They both seem to be because she seemed to be cursed as a corpse, and he died on the battlefield. So it seems that they were being punished for their transgressions.
Yeah. And
And
well, and then not to mention but the kid, right? The kid was innocent in all of this, and now he has, you know, no family and is stuck in the middle of a spooky swamp.
right, but what does that entail? I guess we'll never know. And as far as the third one goes, I guess I guess the crime is what, not letting go.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Sort of a the crime is witchcraft.
The crime is witchcraft.
The crime is like making deals with the devil or whatever.
Right. Exactly. But is that considered? But would that be considered the crime though? I guess that's the crime. Yeah. So yeah, I think they all kind of do deserve it. Even if they didn't, there's a long history of fairy tales. Just what, like you said, it's just bad stuff happening to good people. I think in the original version of the Little Mermaid, she turns into foam at the end. Like what the fuck? So it's very in keeping with folklore
Yeah.
that all these have tragic or bittersweet endings, right?
Well, yeah, and that's kind of part of the horror element of it is that in addition to these things just being creepy and a little scary, also the idea that you could accidentally get into one of these situations very easily and then totally quote deserve your supernatural punishment.
Right. Right. So yeah.
Um
So did you find any of these stories creepy?
oh yeah, I thought they were all creepy.
Okay.
I definitely yeah.
Which one you think is the creepiest?
Oh, I thought the last one was the creepiest.
Yeah.
Just because I really felt it more.
Okay.
Like feeling the relationship made all of the emotions stronger.
Right. Right. Then it's then to have a daughter like at the end, which adds even more to the tragedy.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, this is a weird thing. It actually reminds me of the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that?
I don't know. I think I've seen all of them, but I don't know if I can actually remember what happened in the different ones. So no, I don't know the third one specifically.
So in the third movie, um Orlando Bloom becomes the captain of Davy Jones' locker, and he can only go on land. I think it's every 10 years.
Okay.
So him and Keira Knightley are married or was going to be married, are a couple, right?
Mhm.
So since he took this job as the cursed captain of the the Jolly Roger,
Yeah.
he can only come on land every 10 years. So the sting of that movie is he comes to land 10 years later, and Keira Knightley is waiting on the shore with his daughter.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying they kind of remind me of this. That's kind of what happened here. So yeah, just for some reason that was my frame of reference when I seen the ending of this. Amanda, do you have anything else to say about this book?
No, I think that I thought it was all really well done. I think that this creative team works well together. I guess what I was going to say was that if they did more work together, if they did another short story every year, I would be interested in reading it.
Right.
But I don't know, it's one of those things where it's I don't know how far out of my way I would go to find it.
Okay.
But if I see the name Becky Cloonan, I'll take a look at it.
Right.
So it's sort of a B plus level recommendation. I'm not gonna go find more, but I think I'll probably remember her name and remember enjoying this work.
Well, she's done a lot. She's also the first woman ever to draw Batman in a comic for an issue.
Okay.
But that's crazy to think about. That it's like 2020, and like she did that back in I think 2015. So there's like it took 8 years for a woman to draw a issue of Batman.
Wow. That's one of those things where you're just like that's one of those examples where of like oddly like I guess cumulative sexism where you're just like surely that would have happened by now.
Yeah, like that. That's
And
the
like
thing.
even if no individual person was saying out loud women aren't allowed to write Batman, just the fact that it took so long, you're like, are you sure you guys weren't all a little sexist?
I mean, clearly a little sexist, at least a little, right? Like,
Well, that's the thing is, a tiny bit of sexism or racism added up over years suddenly becomes you've never had a woman draw Batman, or, you've never had like a black guy write Batman, or, something like that.
right, right. So, Amanda, I think that is it for us. This is a really short episode, but they all can't be like long.
Hey, we're all busy these days having feelings.
I
Um,
uh, just crying in bed, just because there's nothing else to do. To just pray that the corona don't come for you.
yeah.
I like you say you're doing fine. How's your husband holding up? Just being inside. How are y'all sheltering in place? Okay.
We're fine. My husband worked from home for years before this.
So okay, so see
So
y'all.
this is like barely different than our normal life.
Well,
Um
I
and
am.
like
Go ahead.
we like I think the biggest difference for us is that like now we order takeout once a week. So like we drive to like the restaurant and pick up the takeout and bring it home. Whereas like before we would have just like gone to the restaurant. Um I think that's like the biggest difference. I mean, and obviously, like I'm not leaving the house to do dance stuff, but it's we're incredibly lucky that this is not very different for us.
Right. Me and my wife, we had to get out the house yesterday and go to our storage unit, which that's just the cleanest place ever. But on the way back, I'm starving. Let's stop and get something to eat. And she
Yeah.
was like, well, no one like we can't sit anywhere. Like, well, they go to Chili's. So like what Chili's did was they just set up chairs and tables outside and said, yeah, just pull it right here. We bring you a menu and we bring the food out. So they kind of turned into a drive-through a little bit. Like
Interesting.
like a Sonic. You know what I'm saying? You just pull up, you order your food, and they bring it out to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like it's so weird because even with that, wasn't a lot of people there. Like there's just not a lot of people. You know,
Good.
Atlanta traffic is notoriously bad, even worse than Los Angeles traffic. I heard.
Mhm.
Man, my commutes have never been so good because I'm an essential worker apparently. What is it? Essential personnel? Isn't that what they call it? What they call it?
Yeah, you're essential personnel.
Yes, I'm essential. So I have to drive every day, and like, oh man, my commute has never been as great. Then I get depressed.
Yeah.
Like, my commute has never been this great. Like, bummer. But yeah, so yeah, everybody stay inside, and hopefully this clears up. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to California this year,
Right.
so that makes me sad, and the airline won't give me back my money. So the hell with American Airlines.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was supposed to go on a cruise. That got canceled. Everything got canceled. But it's fine. It's fine. Just sit here and watch old movies. So Amanda, what are we reading next week?
Okay, well, so we had originally thought about maybe doing DC Bombshells. But we're looking at maybe doing a Birds of Prey. Well, we're definitely doing a Birds of Prey week. So I'm going to stream the movie somewhere, probably rent it from Amazon. And then we're going to read the New 52 Harley Quinn that was done by Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti.
Yes. Husband and wife.
Yep. So that should be fun. I'm looking forward to a little. I don't know. My understanding is the movie was fun. There was lots of great clothes, which we love. There was some good music. I heard it was kind of a party.
Yes, and just
which I somehow completely missed because I'm no longer in the demographic that comic book movies are advertised at.
You're old lady now, Amanda.
I am.
That's just the short of it. You know, we're old now, Amanda. We're 35. I don't know what to tell you.
We're in the next drop-down menu.
Oh man. Okay. So just to be specific, we're reading Harley Quinn Volume 1, Hot in the City. That's the first 8 issues, 0 through 8. So that's what we'll be reading in a couple weeks. Also, I guess we'll have a review of the Birds of Prey movie.
Yeah.
I think I might watch it again too. I ain't expecting to be here so quick, but you know, the Rona. So, so Amanda, thank you for joining me this week. I'm Jamil Payne.
I'm Amanda Comey.
And we are out.